8:41. I'm playing the role of tough customer or skeptic on this edition.
As you should.
I want to ask you about this because I have a little Samsung tablet at home.
Yep.
And I've got an iPad mini. I seem to be getting along well with both. And you get this new fancy iPad, so I say, so what?
Yeah.
Why should I be excited? And you're going to break it down.
It's interesting because this new iPad Pro hits stores tomorrow. It actually is a complete redesign of what we know of the iPad. The first thing you're going to notice is the bezels, the frame around it, really, really thin, so it's almost all screen. Notice there's no notch for the camera, like on newer iPhones. That's because the camera is actually hidden in this bezel. The screen is a liquid retina display. It's not OLED. Some people are like, oh, it's not OLED. The blacks aren't going to be very black. You know what? The screen is beautiful. I've watched movies, done everything on it, and it looks really nice. You're not even going to notice it. But one of the biggest game changers, Face ID. You can unlock this now just by glancing at your iPad, and if you've never used it before, it's a game changer. There's no more fingerprint that you have to worry about the sensor being dirty. There's no more passwords,
crazy.
And you can buy your apps and things like that too as well.
Put it in front of you. It's open.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the other big change, and this is going to be hard to see on camera, but they've changed the port. The Lightning port is gone. It's now USB-C. And people are like, oh, another port, that means new cables. Actually, this is good because it opens it up, because Apple's not the only company that uses USB-C. In fact, a lot of other manufacturers, when it comes to laptops and tablets, use this. So it opens it up. Now you're not looking for, if you go to a friend's house and they're an Android family, you're not looking for a cable, because chances are they're going to have a cable that's actually usable with this.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, and there's no headphone jack on this, but you can actually use third-party adapters. This, for example, didn't come with an iPhone. It's a headphone adapter for USB-C. It comes from a competitor's phone. It still works.
Oh, so my Samsung stuff will fit into something like, this is the first for Apple.
It is, so it actually opens it up. And that means, too, in the future, you might be able to add things like hard drives, external hard drives. If the software comes out for it, of course.
Yeah, there's that.
Right? Okay, processing power. So this has the new A12X Bionic chip. I know it's really techie talk there, but it is incredible. It's a powerhouse, to put it that mildly. I'm going to show you a couple apps here and show you just kind of what it can do. The first one I want to show you is AR. Everyone knows augmented reality. It takes a lot of horsepower to do. This is called Frogopedia. And if you see at home, there's actually a virtual frog here on set.
Yeah.
And look at this. You go right in there to see the detail on the skin. And that takes a lot of processing power to do something like that. So it's actually really neat to do things like this. Now, I'm going to open up different apps, though, so you can see. This one, if for the artistic people out there, actually, 1 second, I'm just going to launch that again. This is called World Brush. This is a drawing app. So it uses AR, and I can draw in thin air. So I'm drawing, of drawing you, Andy. There you go. So the neat thing is, look at this. I can get up off the couch and actually look at the back of it, go through the drawing. It's all with AR.
It's like VR when you have the headset on, yet you're doing it at home.
There's a little bit of lag between the Apple TV and what you're seeing at home, so that's why you see the little
glitch. So it's smoother on your actual screen.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, once I draw this, it's saved. Anyone else with the app can walk by the studio and point in, and they will see you. You are saved here forever.
Previous work that you've done within that family.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And the last one I want to show you, and this actually makes use of the new Apple Pencil Generation 2, is called Procreate. And the neat thing, and I want to show the new Apple Pencil off, is because it has some new features to it. So, of course, the harder I push, I didn't draw this, by the way. It's easier for me to rec art than actually draw art. The harder I push, the darker the line's going to be. But if I do different angles, it changes what goes on the screen. And now there's a little sensor that goes around that you can tap, and it actually switches the brushes back and forth. Charging also, magnetic. Right at the top, charges and pairs. Okay, so those are all the great things. A couple things I want to point out. Because Apple wants this to be a notebook replacement, of course, there's the stand. So I'm going to put it on the stand here, which I love. It's great to work with, and it's easy to type on. I'll put it right there. The problem is that stand costs extra money. You're looking at about an extra $250 for the stand. You can now get storage up to 1 terabyte, which is crazy when you think about a tablet with 1 terabyte. Problem is that also costs money. So while you start at $999, once you start adding things in, the price gets very high very fast. The other thing, too, is Apple Pencil Generation 2. I think it's pretty cool. I can see how artists and people would love to use it, but it doesn't come with it. That's separate as well. Okay. Also, the Apple Pencil Generation 2 doesn't work on the older iPads, and the older Apple Pencil doesn't work on the new iPad Pro. So some things to kind of consider before you launch into it. You just need to know these things before you go buy.
Just when you talked about them getting less restrictive to the cords.
Yes, I know. It's a give and take. Anyway, overall, pretty impressed by how powerful this is. It could be, yes, a laptop replacement, but just keep in mind the price goes up as you add those extra features that you'll probably want.
And it's fancy and shiny.
Yeah.